Chris Jericho has teased returning to WWE. We have an exclusive on Season 2 of WWE Unreal, and Triple H has revealed that Undertaker is helping out with AAA. What is up, wrestling fans? I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. In this video, I'm going to go through all the news from this weekend in professional wrestling, well, all the important stuff anyway, and give some of my thoughts on all of it in around about 10 minutes. Let's get into it. But before we do, please leave a like and comment, that does massively help us out. Dominic Mysterio has challenged Eliod Delvingo to a match for the AAA Mega Championship at Worlds Collide. This comes just days after Dominic Mysterio challenged for the AAA Mega Championship in an incredible fatal four-way at Triple Mania, which also included Dragon Lee and El Grande Americano. After the event, he was talking to Mas Lucha where he made this challenge, and it's yet to be made official, but the date of the match would be on September 12th at Worlds Collide. After the event, Dominic Mysterio spoke to Mas Lucha where he made this challenge. He said, "Vikingo, I'll see you at Worlds Collide September 12th, and the match is yet to be made official by WWE. But let's face it, in Mexico the other day at Triple Mania, Dominic Mysterio genuinely was a star. He was probably the most over person in that match. The crowd wanted him to win. Now, of course, this Worlds Collide event will be taking place in the US, so it will be a bit of a different crowd. But this dude is a star in Mexico, and honestly, yes, he's a WWE talent, not a AAA talent, but I think him holding that title, it could do big things for AAA. I could see a possibility where Dominic Mysterio loses the Intercontinental Championship to AJ Styles in the next few weeks before September 12th, and then on September 12th, that's when Dominic Mysterio wins the AAA Championship, so he still does have a belt, but AJ Styles can go on with the Intercontinental Championship. And of course, Styles was the one who cost him on Sunday. Sorry, on Saturday. All my days are getting mixed up, but at Triple Mania. Chris Jericho has liked a post on Instagram suggesting that he could return to WWE. That is right, there was an Instagram post by JM Playground which said Chris Jericho's AEW deal ends in December 2025 and he's open to a WWE return depending on the situation. Now, this kind of does just seem like dirt sheet nonsense. You don't know whether it's true or not true. But then Chris Jericho liked it. Now look, there's a couple of options here. One option, which I do think is very likely, is Jericho just like this, just to get fans talking about him a little bit more. He's been out of the news cycle recently. He's been taking a break from All Elite Wrestling. So I could just see this to kind of throw fans off before he does return to AEW. But if his deal does expire in December, potentially he could be returning to the company. You can never say never anymore. Especially since he hasn't been on All Elite Wrestling television since April 6th. And let's be honest, a lot of fans in that company are kind of sick of him at this point. But at the same time, by then he will be 55 years old. So unless it's kind of just for a few matches, maybe a retirement run of sorts, I'm not entirely sure if I can see this happening. Because with all the young stars WWE have, plus all the veterans they also have, I'm not sure if I can see them bringing back Chris Jericho on a full-time basis when he's 55. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Triple H has revealed that The Undertaker is now one of the big driving forces in AAA. Of course, in April of this year, WWE purchased AAA, and of course that deal hasn't gone through yet. It is still in the process of going through, but already WWE are putting a team together who they think should be running AAA going forward, featuring some previous behind-the-scenes people in that company, as well as some WWE people. But now Triple H has revealed that The Undertaker is one of those people. And in a behind-the-scenes video posted to Twitter, Triple H said, "If you would have told me 20 years ago that one day one of the big driving forces behind AAA in Mexico would be The Undertaker, it would be hard for me to sort of wrap my head around that." I'm going to be honest, Triple H, if somebody told me that 6 months ago, if somebody told me that 12 months ago, I would have had the exact same reaction. I mean, this is just crazy to me. I mean, Triple H controlling the main roster, Shawn Michaels controlling NXT, and The Undertaker controlling AAA. That is just crazy. Think where they've all come from since they all stood on that stage together at WrestleMania 28. Incredible. Jade Cargill and Naomi wanted to use much more extreme weapons during their street fight at WWE Evolution. Now, that might seem a little bit crazy to you, considering they did use a lot of weapons during that match, including chairs, kendo sticks, even a toolbox as well. It was crazy, and it was a fantastic, fantastic match. But they wanted to take it a few steps further. because Cargill revealed to Alistair McGeorge of the Metro that they wanted to use mace during the match to blind each other. However, because of the danger that it would have meant to the crowd, they decided they just couldn't do that in the end and they weren't allowed to do it. But they also wanted to use razors as well. Cargill said it would have been tough, but she welcomed it and wanted to use both of them. But of course, there's a lot of dangers with stuff like that. So WWE said, hey, no, let's leave that one for another time. If I doubt they even said that, I imagine they just said, no, let's just never, ever, ever do that. But regardless, it was a match which didn't even need it because it was brutal, it was fantastic, and I loved every second of it. And of course, later on in the night, Naomi cashed in as well. We can confirm in an exclusive scoop that WWE Unreal Season 2 is currently in the works, and it will feature a behind-the-scenes look at this year's Money in the Bank. The director of the show, Chris Weaver, revealed to us during an interview on this week's Wrestling Republic Spotlight all of these details, and here is the video.
I can't detail it a whole lot, but I can tell you there's more happening. We're working on it now, and you will see more WWE Unreal on Netflix for sure.
That is exciting, and I'm glad you said that because I won't ask because I was at WrestleMania this year, and then I was at Money in the Bank, and I really wasn't paying attention when I got to episode 5, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait. That Money in the Bank episode's probably coming up next.
I think you'll be your dreams will come true about Money in the Bank. Let's put it to you that way.
I mean, this has gotten me really excited. I mean, I'd love to see a behind-the-scenes look at Money in the Bank. It's not something we've had a look at before, really. Obviously, the look they did at the Royal Rumble, I thought was really, really good. And how they did it from multiple different camera angles as well. I thought it was produced really smartly, that episode. But to see a behind-the-scenes look at Money in the Bank, that has me fascinated. Tony Khan has responded to the possibility of WWE putting All Elite Wrestling out of business. That is right, a troll on social media commented, WWE is going to bring you down and close shop and I can't wait. Firstly, why on earth are you sitting at home trying to hope for something like that? Hoping that people are going to lose jobs? I mean, honestly, I don't know what life this person has, but it's clearly not much of one. But Tony Khan responded to this tweet with a GIF with the hashtag AEW Collision, of course, promoting his show like he always does. But the GIF said, that will be the day. I got to say, this is quite a funny response from Tony Khan. Sometimes when he responds to tweets like this, it can be a little bit hit or miss if it works or not. But this one I did find quite funny. Of course, all of this comes after reports in the last week that potentially TNA Impact, could be going head-to-head with Dynamite on a weekly basis, basically restarting the Wednesday Night Wars. But last but certainly not least today, we have to talk about the G1 Climax Final over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, because All Elite Wrestling star Konosuke Takeshita won the tournament by defeating Evil yesterday. Now, it's been a tournament which has kind of been a little bit plagued by injuries again this year, unfortunately, and the final was Evil, very controversially. A lot of people did not want him in the final. He was cheating in every match, House of Torture, kind of overbooked WCW 2000s type nonsense, basically, to win each match. But he did get to the final, and in the final, he took on Takeshita. Now, personally, I really struggle to believe that this was the original plan, because both of them were kind of heels going into the final. But even still, Takeshita was the lesser of the two evils. At least he wasn't trying to ruin the New Japan product in the way Evil and House of Torture have been doing. But it was such a bizarre vibe during this match, because when Evil wasn't cheating, when he was like his old self back in 2016-2017, the fans were actually cheering for him over Takeshita. Of course, Takeshita, despite the fact he's on a dual contract, is perceived as kind of an outsider in New Japan. And if you are going to check out this match, the first 10-15 minutes is filled with a lot of nonsense, a lot of overbooked people wrestling outside the ring, people running in, all that nonsense. But the last 10 minutes was actually really, really good, and the best performance I have seen from Evil in quite a long time. But it didn't matter because Takeshita won in the end and now has an opportunity to challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at a time of his choosing. Typically, in fact, almost always, the winner challenges for the title at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th, the biggest New Japan Pro Wrestling show of the year. However, last year, Zack Sabre Jr. won the tournament and cashed in early, and I think challenged at King of Pro Wrestling, if I'm not mistaken, in October. So it is entirely possible that Takeshita does cash in before then. But that is all the news that I have for you guys today. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and check us out live daily at 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific here on the Wrestling Republic YouTube channel for Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. See you guys then. Peace.